It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is CarEdge Live for Monday, October 7th, with your host, me, Ray, and well, that good-looking dude, Zach. Happy Monday, Zach. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty doggone good, Dad. Happy Monday to you as well. Today's show, folks, brought to you by CarEdge.com. If we can help you out with anything related to purchasing, selling, protecting, researching, the whole nine yards, check it out. We got a brand new top navigation here. Check it out. CarEdge.com coming up on 5-year anniversary. 5-year anniversary. Deal School, by the way, is releasing at 4 p.m. today over on the main CarEdge channel. So check that out. Deal School for 2024 for end of year car buying coming soon. Dad, the big story this morning, UAW and Stellantis going back and forth. Stellantis sues the UAW to stop strike over plant investments. 8 more suits filed Monday. The automaker is taking legal action against the union's threat to walk off over delayed investments in some of Stellantis's assembly plants. This is coming at the same time that we know sales over at Stellantis, as well as other domestic automakers like General Motors, Q3 sales down as Chevy fleet volume drops. We know that the domestic automakers are struggling. These are the same domestic automakers that had a negotiation with the UAW last year to be able to get them back to work. What is going on here, man? UAW and Stellantis still trading blows left and right.
What exactly is going on? Part of the contract negotiations were that Stellantis was going to invest sums of money, large sums of money, to bring back the Belvedere manufacturing facility. And they were supposed to start working on that, I think, this year so that they could be brought back online next year. And now Stellantis wants to delay that. Now, Why does Stellantis want to delay it? Well, they're overstocked with inventory in dealers' hands. They want to cut back 200,000 vehicles out of their production moving forward in the fourth quarter to bring their inventory into line with where they think it needs to be. Their sales were down 20% in the third quarter compared to the third quarter of last year. So everything indicates that for Stellantis, they're trending in the wrong direction. Now,
sorry, I just pulled up a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's got a 2,500 days supply. So yeah, they definitely have too much inventory. Sorry.
Yes, and so you think to yourself, when a business is struggling, okay, when cash flow can become an issue, is that the time that you're going to take hundreds of millions of dollars and invest that into reopening and bringing back up-to-date manufacturing facilities? My suspicion would be, if I were running the business, the answer to that would be no. Okay, now's not the time. Now, is it in violation of the contract? Maybe. Does it make sense to sue each other because, well, business-wise, it just doesn't make sense to invest the money at the moment? I don't know. There's got to be some type of different solution to this than just lawsuits. Somewhere along the line, somebody's got to pay. Now, I'm not necessarily saying it's the union that needs to pay. I'm not necessarily saying that it's Stellantis that needs to pay. But I would think, in my mind, that it is top management at Stellantis that needs to pay. If you are running your company into the ground and you can't make the investments you were scheduled to make because you've run that company into the ground, well, then maybe you're not the people that should be leading the company.
Go back and watch all of our various live streams that have Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or Stellantis in the title over the past, year. And you'll see the documentation of executives being fired, talks about a succession plan for the CEO. Last week, Dad, was the hush, hush, we're not going to merge with Renault. So we're already hearing some, conversations about the company being owned by someone different. So there's a lot of bad things going on at that organization. But it is, I do think, and I know we use this word all the time, I do think with how recent the UAW agreement came to be, the fact that they're already suing one another is pretty doggone shocking. And there were 8 more suit filed just this morning, Dad, against UAW and 23 local unions, saying the union has violated its contract by threatening to strike over the company's delays in the planned investments. So this is not going to die down quickly. This is about to be a prolonged legal dispute between the United Auto Workers, local unions, and an automaker that is, for all intents and purposes, Dad, driving their business into the ground. You've got the headline in automotive news: Stellantis U.S. sales drop signals more troubles ahead. There are a lot of things at play, is what the executives are saying. A 20% sales decline here in the United States, and globally also a downward trend. And like you said, the company is looking to lighten its U.S. inventory, which is a little over 430,000 units at the moment, to be no more than 330,000 units by the end of the year. So let's talk about that, Dad. Whether the UAW legal dispute gets prolonged or whatever, that's going to be a story we cover. Stellantis has to sell down 100,000 vehicles. I didn't use fire sale in today's thumbnail or image, but I totally could have, man. There's about to be a fire sale. We're in the fourth quarter. This is why Deal School is coming out. It's the best time of year to buy a new car. There's about to be a fire sale of these vehicles, isn't there?
In that article, she stated that,
she being the CFO,
stated that whatever they got to do to get the inventory in line before they get to 2025, they need to do. The original plan was, we'll sort this out by the first quarter of next year. The new plan, we need to sort it out now, damn it. Okay, this has to be handled before we get into the first quarter of next year. Now, how do you do that? Well, if what you have done over the course of the last 5 years is raise your Jeep MSRPs an average of 61% and raise your other brands MSRPs an average of 50%, because all you're producing is higher priced, higher content vehicles, then to sell those vehicles, it's going to require a tremendous amount of cash on the hood. You have to suggest to the public that you might find a pile of cash in the glove compartment of the Jeep that you buy, or the glove compartment of the Ram pickup truck that you buy, that there could be a Jeep or Ram pickup truck out there somewhere in America on some dealer's lot that's available for sale that has, I don't know, $20,000 of good old-fashioned hard American cash hidden somewhere in the vehicle to create some interest in the brand again. But you've got to significantly lower the prices of these vehicles so that you can sell them off the dealer's lots to sell down those extra 100,000 vehicles that you need to sell down between now and the end of December. And the only way I can think of doing that is you have to keep lowering the damn prices. You have to. People don't say yes on something until the value of what you're selling them exceeds the price that you're asking them to pay for it. And we are so far away from that on most of these Stellantis brands that there's only one way to do that, and that's to put big money on the hood of every one of those vehicles.
It's a bummer that week in and week out we have to talk about this company, but holy cow, man, are you right? Because they've got UAW giving them a little right hook, then a little uppercut coming with that right hand from their dealers, and then a left hook coming from the fact that they jacked up those Jeep prices, like you said, and now they're finally 100,000 vehicles sell down. I don't know how. I mean, we're gonna keep talking about it because I don't see a single other automaker out there that's saying, you know what, we need to sell down 100,000 vehicles, not 100,000 like total. They're gonna obviously have to sell so many more because they keep producing more and more of these.
Extra 100,000.
An extra 100,000.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's like an extra 35,000 a month. An extra 35,000 sales a month. They have to find. They have
on
to
top
fabricate.
of what they had. On top of what they had previously said they were going to do.
Yeah.
Think about that. An extra 35,000 sales a month. The incentives are going to be huge, man.
Well, if they're not huge, if the plan is to not dramatically increase the incentives while all your competitors
the plan finally is to do that, Dad.
Well, let's assume that it is. But if it wasn't, Well, then everyone that's in charge of running that company should be fired today.
Agreed. But we are seeing, I want to be very clear. And actually, Dad, we're going to check out a new resource we have back on CarEdge.com. I'm on that Jeep. Prices have increased 61% in 5 years, which is an absolute bonkers headline to have, but it is the truth. I'm going to come here to research, Dad. I'm just going to click on that. When I land on this page, I don't know, man. Let's look at a Jeep. Let's do a Grand Cherokee. And let's take a peek at the data that we have on the Jeep Grand Cherokee. The thing that I'm interested in, was this value rating. What does our algorithm say that this Jeep Grand Cherokee is, where does it rank in terms of value? And this is the other issue that this brand is running into, Dad. The 5-year cost to own for a Jeep Grand Cherokee is $70,000 big ones, man. And it ranks 169th in terms of overall value. So this is another issue that this brand faces, which is it's just a really expensive vehicle to own, both in terms of depreciation, insurance cost, fuel costs, interest on the financing, maintenance. So like this is part of the downfall of this brand. And you're going to have to incentivize people a lot. You're going to have to imagine it's a CarEdge community member that's interested in buying one of these. Like they're going to have all this information.
Yes.
All right. So these savings numbers need to be even bigger. Michael got $5,800 off of a Jeep Grand Cherokee back in May.
3 times
more.
bigger. It needs to be 3 or 4 times bigger, especially when you consider the total cost of ownership and what a drain on your financial position that vehicle's going to be over the next 5 years. And not to push what we do, but this is such valuable information all in one place that somehow we have to figure out how to get it in more and more people's hands. Because if you had all this information available to you, would you go ahead and pull the trigger on that Grand Cherokee? My suspicion would be no. And then that would just exacerbate the situation even more for Stellantis.
Yeah, we got to find a way to pull the incentives onto these pages as well. Also, look at the crazy MSRP spread on the Ram 1500, anywhere from 40 grand to 100 grand for that new Ram.
Seems reasonable. Yeah.
100. All right, Dad. We'll be keeping track of the fire sales and UAW. We'll see if there's a big development there. If they do end up going on strike, I think that's actually a net positive for Stellantis and a net negative for consumers because fewer vehicles would be being produced. But it is a story we'll continue to watch. I want to turn here to the chat for a moment, and then we'll continue on in just a second. From Steph. Thank you, Steph, for the kind contribution. Steph says, how do dealers plan to have fire sales when certified pre-owned inventory for model year 2023 is $15,000 to $20,000 miles per year? New model year 2023 inventory with discounts and an unwillingness to negotiate. How do dealers plan to have fire sales when there's CPO? I guess the point that Steph's trying to make is that there's certified pre-owned 2023 vehicles that are actually like competitively priced versus the brand new ones that there is, I guess she's saying not enough discounts on them.
Well, if I understand the question, it's going to impact both new and used, because if the 2023 CPOs are close to the price of brand new 2023s and 2024s, well, why would anybody buy the pre-owned? So it's going to impact the value of the pre-owned vehicles. It's definitely got to impact the value of the new ones. The amount of money that Stellantis is going to have to put on the hood of those brand new 2023 pickup trucks that still exist and the brand new 2024s is exponentially more, many times more than what they ever envisioned. They might have said to themselves, $5,000. Might have been $5,000 in 2023 on the hood, but in 2020, late 2024, going into 2025, that $5,000 to move a 2023 might have to be $15,000 or $20,000. They have to subsidize their dealers taking those type of losses on that type of inventory, because otherwise, if they don't, the dealers go out of business. Now, maybe that's what they want to have happen. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, Dad, and we harp on Stellantis, but I think it's a lot of brands as well. In a moment here, we're going to actually look at the slowest selling cars based on total number of units sold so far this year, and it's not just Stellantis. We obviously keep track of market days supply back at
Yes.
CarEdge.com, and we empower the community with that information, and that's one way to measure slowest selling. But there's also just total units sold, and that information, I don't want to say it's damning, but it's certainly interesting. Before we do, Dad, I want to reference something that you just said. So I'm back on CarEdge.com. I'm going to the car search. Let's just look at how many new Jeeps are available that are model year 2023. Let's just do that real quick.
Okay.
So we'll say from 2023 to 2023. There's still 6,813 new model year 2023 Jeep vehicles on dealer lots right now. 577 days on the market for this $64,000 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. 500 days on the market for this 2023 Jeep Renegade Limited with a $37,000 MSRP. Look at all these Jeep Renegades, man. 500 days, 498 days, like, Dad, this is bad.
Well, yeah, anytime you still have new 2023s when the 2024s and 2025s are out, yeah, that's I think the correct terminology would be that's way bad. That is some piss poor planning on the parts of many individuals within the confines of that organization.
Ford still has 16,446 new model year 2023 vehicles on their lot right now.
Crazy.
I mean, some of these are, all right, there we go. Some of them are commercial vehicles, but still. Dude.
May I say one thing?
Chevy has 6,600. Yeah, go for it.
I'm so glad we're on this side of the equation and not on the not actually owning or running a dealership.
Let me know in the chat section if we did a video for the CarEdge main channel where we looked at some of these 2023s and we really walked you through how to get the best possible deal. Like we did a video and I challenged my dad, hey, give us the email templates or the talk tracks. Like, how do we get the best possible price on a lingering 2023? Let us know if you'd be interested in that type of video, or how we could make that type of video most educational and most helpful. Go for it, Dad.
Well, here's the scary part.
Yeah.
The first couple that you looked at, they had been in inventory. One was 570 days. One was 500 days. Do you have any concept as to the lot rot on a vehicle that has been sitting at a dealership for 570 days? Okay. The battery. That's the first thing that's going to need to be replaced, because I guarantee you they haven't been that vehicle hasn't been on a trickle charger every month
500 days
to make sure that the battery still has the voltage that it needs. The tires. Every one of those tires is going to be flat spotted, okay? Because they're not moving those vehicles around enough if they've been sitting for almost 600 days to not have flat spots. Rodents love wiring harnesses because wiring harnesses are soy based. Okay. And rodents love soy based foods. So, and lots of rodents make homes. They look at sitting vehicles on a dealership as a condominium project that has gone bad, and they just become squatters, and they move themselves and their family in there, and they think to themselves, my goodness gracious, we got a lifetime supply of food just in the wiring harnesses. I mean, the amount of lot rot on these, if I were a consumer and I was even remotely considering one of these vehicles, we talk about a pre-purchase inspection for every pre-owned car. Okay, this would be one of the times where I would say to you, you need a pre-purchase inspection on this brand new car. Okay, because it ain't brand new when it's been sitting on the dealer's lot for 600 days. It just isn't. And the amount of issues those vehicles could have And let me tell you, it ain't easy evicting squatters anywhere in America, especially under the hood of Jeeps and Ram pickup trucks and anybody else's trucks.
Dad, I just want to show you there are 66,000 model year 2023 new cars for sale in the United States, of which 25%, a quarter, are Ford vehicles. That is bonkers, man. So there are going to be this December, this Christmas holiday season, there are going to be fire sales, blowout sales to try and get rid of model year 2023 vehicles, of which a lot of them are domestic vehicles. Like that's what a lot of people are going to be presented with when they go to the dealership, because they're desperate to get rid of that crap.
I understand the dealer's desperation. Absolutely. You know, I've been in those
You've
situations.
had a car on your lot before for 500 days.
Oh, I've had some cars at unnamed dealerships, not because of me, but because I had an owner that felt every one of his vehicles got better with age. They were like a fine wine, and they would actually go up in value, and they didn't. But my point is that even with huge savings, even if there's $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 worth of savings on some of these vehicles, is it enough because of the potential problems you're taking on, because of how long they've been sitting, because they haven't been used, they haven't been driven? I mean, these vehicles are built to be driven. The engines are built to be running, at least occasionally. So that, you know, the issues surrounding these vehicles could just be astronomical. It would scare the hell out of me. Now, conversely, if I was at a dealership, I'd just be begging people and don't worry about a thing, still under warranty. Yeah, well, the fact that you're going to see your service advisor weekly is not a good selling point. You're going to be on a first name basis with your service advisor. He's probably going to invite you over for Thanksgiving dinner.
You know, could be worse. We've got here from Zach. Thank you, Zach. Buying a new, to me, car at the end of the month, thanks to all your resources. Thank you. I want to remind everyone, Deal School for 2024 updated. It's about 25 minutes. My dad walking you through all you need to know step-by-step how to get the best deal on a new or used car. That's going to go live this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern time over on the main CarEdge channel. And there's a companion ebook that is 100% free. So Zach, glad you're going to buy a car at the end of the month here. Glad we can help you out. Deal School is refreshed and brand new, and it's going to help you get the best possible deal here. Dad, let's look at the slowest selling in terms of total number of units sold vehicles in the United States right now. This is interesting data. Subaru BRZ.
Yes.
This is for the first 3 quarters of the year. 2,323 units sold. Alfa Romeo Giulia, 1,700 units sold. The Lexus LS, 1,700 units sold. The Audi Q8 Sportback e-tron, 1,500 units sold. Your Mini Cooper 4-door, Dad.
Not my Mini Cooper
4-door.
Not mine. I wouldn't have one.
BMW Z4 and XM not selling. The Lexus RC and LC not selling. The Audi A8 and A7 not selling. Then the Genesis G90, Fiat 500, Toyota Mirai, and the Hyundai Nexo. What are some of the themes you're seeing when you look at these slowest selling vehicles? And it is similar to the slowest selling vehicles that we have back at CarEdge.com as well.
You know, a lot of them are expensive. You know, the Nexo and the Mirai are fuel system different, and so that's why they don't sell the Fiat 500. That is part of Stellantis, and you have to look at that and you go, nobody's buying that car ever. I don't know why, you know, for whatever reason. And it's just,
a lot of them are big sedans, Dad. The G90, the A7, the A8. Those are all your big sedans.
Can I tell you something from 43 years ago? Okay, from 7-8 years ago when I was with you couldn't give away an A8. Okay, never. You know, somebody threatened to come in and take whatever loss you needed to take to get rid of it, because the likelihood of finding another buyer for it was so remote. I mean, that car has never sold well. Never. You know, there's just certain models on there that they're the top of the line model that nobody wants. Okay,
You know,
they're the answer to the question that nobody asked.
my favorite one on the list is that BMW XM brand new vehicle that
Oh,
BMW
God.
recently brought out. Look at how expensive some of these cars get, Dad. $189,000 for an XM.
Yeah.
That's the prior model year.
Does that come with Sirius satellite radio as well? The XM Sirius?
I mean, that is definitely one of the themes for these slow selling
wait,
vehicles.
go up to that one with the red. No, go scroll down. It had that one right there. Oh my God. Oh, I mean, who are you hoping comes in for that car, sees that color combination with the red and goes, oh, I gotta have that. I don't know where this dealer is, okay, but the likelihood that the buyer for that vehicle actually lives in their area is Summit, New Jersey. Who in New Jersey, New York, New Jersey area is buying that vehicle? Oh my, that is.
If you're unfamiliar, folks, you get the market insights back on the CarEdge Car Search as well. There's a lot of markup in this bad boy. Holy cow. $150,000 invoice price, $164,000 MSRP. But yeah, your slowest selling vehicles, they're big sedans, they're expensive SUVs, they're alternative fuel, is it fuel? Yeah, alternative fuel options that haven't really caught on. That's the trend here.
The Subaru BRZ, I get. You can get a hell of a lease on one of those.
Yeah, you really can. Also, speaking of leasing, Dad, the manufacturers, that's where I've seen a ton of incentives coming out recently. It's leasing. They're really pushing leasing. The OEMs are really pushing leasing, trying to find people a monthly payment that they feel most comfortable with. If you're going to lease a vehicle, definitely do your research. We have all sorts of videos on that as well.
And if you're going to get an EV, lease it, okay? Because EVs are the fastest depreciating vehicles out there by far. So it's not the type of vehicle where you want to buy it and put out your cash for it. Let the leasing company eat it, not you.
Dad, let's jump to our favorite segment of the show.
Really? You've got to be kidding me.
All righty. Customer sues Illinois' Napleton store, alleges unauthorized credit check. Arlington Heights CDJR, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram shoppers lawsuit seeks class action status for other consumers who allegedly also saw unwanted hard credit pulls by the Napleton Group. A customer has sued Napleton Automotive Group, alleging one of its Illinois Stellantis dealerships ran a formal credit check on him without consent. Brian Olson, whose lawsuit said he was explicit with Napleton's Arlington Heights CDJR about wanting to pay cash, sought class action status for the past 5 years for U.S. consumers who experienced a similar unauthorized hard credit check by the group. Napleton Automotive of Oak Brook Terrace ranks number 24 on the 150 largest dealership groups. Olson also accused the group's store and parent company of violating the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which limits the release of credit reports. He also accused them of invading his privacy or seclusion. So Dad, Napleton is obviously denying this, and they're going through all the rigmarole, but we have a consumer here trying to get class action status for the past 5 years for a hard credit check when paying cash to purchase a vehicle. Are you surprised by this? Everything's in our opinion, by the way, for this segment.
In my opinion, and this has nothing to do with my opinion at the moment, but isn't Napleton the same group that I believe 2 years ago was fined $10 million for violations, consumer fraud violations, other consumer violations, charging unusual fees? Of course, they stroked the check. They did not admit any guilt. But it's the same organization. And in my opinion, if you were in a situation like that at your stores in the past, then, well, more than likely, in my opinion, the same kind of crap is going on at the rest of your stores and the rest of your locations. Okay. And the only reason it would be is because in my opinion, at the uppermost echelons of the organization, you don't condemn those actions. You more or less condone those actions, and you need to do something about it. Now, do people paying cash at a dealership need to have a credit check? They need to have a OFAC check. They need to make sure the government requires that you not be on the a certain watch list, a terrorist watch list. Okay, but that doesn't require a complete credit application or a credit report. It's a separate report altogether. If you want to write a check and take the vehicle home with you that day, many dealerships would require a credit application and to run your credit application to make sure, I don't know, you're who you purport to be, and you would actually have the ability to stroke that check. Okay. Now, if you said you were paying cash and you were going to bring back either a certified check or a cashier's check or a treasurer's check, there's really no need for them to run a hard credit check. Does it happen? Every day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we'll keep our eyes on this story and see what comes of it. But yeah, Napleton was the group. They paid about $9.6 million back to 66,000 prior customers for junk fees. So, we haven't heard a lot of stories quite like that. So definitely a little bit of a history there. Yes. A final reminder, folks, if we can help you with anything, it would be our pleasure. CarEdge.com or Google search CarEdge to find the website. Great show today, Pops. Appreciate the energy as always. Good looking watch, good looking shirt. You're
Thank
looking
you.
great.
New watch, by the way, a new watch. We'll do a quick watch check. This is a Panzera, Australian made, Mecha Quartz. So it's a hybrid movement. Green face. I love the thickness of the band. I love everything about it. I didn't have enough watches with a green face, so this was the newest member of the collection. This is number 41, and number 42 should be arriving sometime this month.
You got an addiction, man, but it's a good one, all things considered. I love you. Have a fantastic afternoon. I'm sure I'll see you soon. And thanks so much. We're back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern for more CarEdge Live. Much love, Pops.
Much love to you. I'll see you at 1 for filming. And in the meantime, I'm going to devour a half of an Italian sub from the White House. Thanks, everybody, for being here today.